I have spent the greater part of my life exploring the mysterious realms of the human mind, and yet, I find no domain more fascinating, more intimate, or more revealing than the world of dreams. From the earliest days of my practice, I have observed that dreams are not mere fragments of memory or the random firing of neurons. They are, in their essence, a language through which the unconscious speaks to us, often in symbols and images that defy ordinary logic yet carry profound truths. When I first began to record and analyze the dreams of my patients, I was struck by their complexity. Each dream seemed like a small universe, a microcosm in which the dreamer's psyche acted out its struggles, desires, and unacknowledged fears. Unlike the waking life, where the mind is constrained by social norms, rational thought, and the necessity of action, dreams offer a theater of freedom. Here, the mind can confront shadows, encounter archetypal figures, and express truths that the conscious self may resist acknowledging. I must emphasize that dreams are not simple messages from the self to the self. They often communicate paradoxes, presenting ideas and images that challenge our conscious understanding. A man who dreams of a serpent swallowing a bird may be confronted with themes of destruction, renewal, and transformation, all in a single image. Such dreams require patience, careful observation, and an understanding of the symbolic language in which they are expressed. It is crucial to understand that the unconscious has its own logic, one that is often different from the rational logic of our waking consciousness. In this sense, dreams are like a foreign language. To interpret them requires not only learning their vocabulary, their recurring images, symbols, and motifs, but also grasping their grammar, the way the unconscious organizes its narratives. When we approach dreams with this respect, we begin to see them not as arbitrary or meaningless, but as expressions of the psyche's innate drive toward wholeness. One of the most profound aspects of dreams is their ability to reveal the hidden aspects of ourselves, the parts we deny, suppress, or fail to recognize. I have called this domain the shadow, a collection of qualities and impulses that are often unacceptable to the conscious ego. Dreams frequently present the shadow in vivid form, allowing the dreamer to encounter it safely, to explore it, and to integrate its lessons. In many ways, the shadow is not an enemy but a guide, leading the dreamer toward a more complete understanding of the self. Yet, dreams are not merely personal reflections. I have discovered that they also tap into what I have termed the collective unconscious, a reservoir of images, symbols, and archetypes shared across humanity. When a dreamer sees a wise old man, a great mother, or a heroic figure, these are not inventions of the individual alone. They emerge from a shared psychic heritage, a symbolic language that transcends culture, geography, and time. In this way, dreams connect us not only with our personal unconscious, but with the universal patterns that shape human experience. I often tell my students and patients that to understand dreams, one must cultivate a certain humility. The dreamer is not always the master of these visions, rather, they are a dialogue with forces within the psyche that are sometimes greater than the conscious will. The dreamer's role is to observe, reflect, and engage with the images that arise, to listen without prejudice, and to allow the unconscious to speak. It is a delicate art, a dance between awareness and receptivity, intellect and intuition. Throughout my work, I have encountered dreams of great beauty, terror, and mystery. I recall one dream in which a patient found herself in a vast forest, pursued by shadows that whispered in voices she could not recognize. The fear was palpable, yet the dream also revealed a path, a stream of light through the darkness. In her waking analysis, we traced the dream to suppressed fears and desires, and through reflection and integration, the dream became a bridge, guiding her toward greater self-awareness and emotional balance. In my personal reflections, I have learned that dreams are not simply psychological phenomena, but spiritual guides as well. They call us to encounter ourselves honestly, to confront our limitations, and to embrace the unknown aspects of the psyche. They invite creativity, insight, and transformation. When approached with patience and respect, dreams become allies, offering guidance, warnings, and revelations that can profoundly shape our waking lives. It is for these reasons that I consider the study of dreams indispensable. To neglect the messages of the unconscious is to ignore a vital dimension of existence. In dreams, we encounter the totality of the psyche, its shadows, its archetypes, its deep longings and fears. To engage with dreams is to engage with life itself, to explore the hidden realms within that shape our thoughts, behaviors, and destinies. As I continue my work, I remain ever aware that dreams are both a mirror and a window, a mirror reflecting the inner life of the dreamer, and a window into the universal truths that lie beneath the surface of consciousness. Each dream, no matter how fleeting or obscure, carries the potential to illuminate, to guide, and to transform. And it is in the careful, patient, and respectful dialogue with these dreams that we unlock the secrets of the soul and the hidden wisdom of the human mind. In my many years of observing dreams, one truth has become unmistakably clear. Dreams communicate primarily through symbols. These symbols are not literal, nor are they always immediately comprehensible. They are the language of the unconscious, and like any language, they require careful attention, reflection, and understanding. In each symbol, the psyche encodes meaning, often in ways that bypass rational thought and conscious defenses. I recall the early days of my practice, when patients would describe images that seemed entirely nonsensical at first glance. A burning house, a bird trapped in a cage, a river flowing uphill. My initial instinct, and perhaps that of any observer, might have been to dismiss these visions as irrational or random. Yet, with patience and experience, I began to see that each image carried a significance that was deeply personal, yet simultaneously universal. This realization marked the beginning of my exploration into the symbolic language of dreams. Symbols in dreams often emerge as archetypal figures: a wise old man, a nurturing mother, a heroic warrior. These images recur across cultures and epochs. I have come to understand these archetypes as patterns of the collective unconscious, structures of the psyche that shape human experience in profound ways. When such symbols appear in dreams, they serve as messengers, conveying insights from a dimension of the mind that extends beyond the individual. Yet, while archetypes are universal, the way they manifest in each dreamer's life is unique. A mother figure in one person's dream may represent protection and nourishment, while in another, she may embody restriction or control. To interpret a symbol requires attention not only to its archetypal meaning, but also to the context of the dreamer's life, emotions, and personal associations. This delicate balance between the universal and the individual is what makes the study of dream symbols both fascinating and challenging. Consider, for instance, the image of water, a common motif in dreams. Water may symbolize the unconscious itself, the flowing and changing nature of emotions, or the threshold between the known and the unknown. A turbulent river might signify emotional upheaval, while a calm lake could represent serenity or latent potential. Yet these interpretations are only meaningful when connected to the dreamer's personal experience. To assign a fixed meaning to a symbol is to misunderstand the dynamic, living nature of the unconscious. Another striking example is the recurring dream of flying. To some, it represents freedom, transcendence, and aspiration. To others, it may convey fear of losing control or the desire to escape from reality. In every case, the symbolism of flight reveals something fundamental about the psyche's current state, offering insight that is accessible only through careful reflection and dialogue. I have always emphasized that symbols are not simply decorative or incidental, they are the language in which the unconscious expresses itself. When a dreamer engages with these symbols, whether through writing, artistic expression, or conversation, they begin to decode messages that can illuminate hidden fears, desires, and potentials. In my practice, I often encourage patients to explore their dreams through multiple lenses: visual, emotional, and intuitive. By doing so, they can uncover layers of meaning that might otherwise remain hidden. An essential aspect of working with dream symbols is patience. The unconscious does not reveal its secrets all at once. A single symbol may recur in various forms, across multiple dreams, before its full significance becomes clear. I have observed that repeated motifs often mark critical psychological issues, unresolved conflicts, or important developmental challenges. Each appearance invites reflection, encouraging the dreamer to engage with a theme that the conscious mind may have overlooked or suppressed. Moreover, symbols can serve as guides for personal growth. A snake, for example, may represent danger, fear, or transformation. By examining the context in which it appears, the dreamer can confront latent fears, explore unacknowledged desires, or recognize the need for change. Symbols often challenge the ego, asking it to expand, to acknowledge aspects of the self that have been ignored or denied. In this sense, dreams are not merely reflections, but active participants in the process of individuation, the journey toward wholeness. I must also note that the interpretation of symbols is never a rigid science. It is an art, requiring intuition, empathy, and careful listening. When I analyze a dream, I seek not only the logical meaning of each image, but also the emotional resonance it carries for the dreamer. How does it feel? What thoughts arise? What associations emerge? Through this reflective process, the dreamer and the analyst co-create a dialogue with the unconscious, gradually revealing the deeper significance of each symbol. In my own dreams, I have frequently encountered symbols that defy immediate understanding: a tower, a labyrinth, a darkened forest. Each image invites inquiry, reflection, and patience. Over time, I have learned to approach such symbols not with the desire for immediate clarity, but with curiosity and openness, allowing their meanings to unfold organically. In doing so, I find that even the most mysterious dreams can become sources of insight, guidance, and personal transformation. Finally, it is essential to remember that dream symbols are dynamic. Their meanings evolve as the dreamer's consciousness develops, as life circumstances change, and as the psyche grows. A symbol that once represented fear may later signify courage. A recurring figure that initially embodies conflict may come to signify resolution or integration. In this way, dreams are living dialogues, constantly adapting and responding to the needs of the conscious and unconscious mind. In conclusion, the study of dream symbols is a journey into the heart of the psyche. It demands patience, attentiveness, and humility. Each symbol carries the potential to reveal profound truths about ourselves, our desires, our fears, and our connections to the broader currents of human experience. To engage with these symbols is to participate in a dialogue with the unconscious, to uncover hidden dimensions of the self, and to move toward greater awareness and wholeness. Dream symbols are not mere curiosities, they are the threads that connect our inner lives, the bridges between consciousness and the vast, mysterious realm of the unconscious. By paying careful attention, by listening deeply, and by reflecting with courage, we unlock the secrets that dreams carry, and in doing so, we begin to understand not only ourselves but the universal patterns that shape all human experience. Throughout my work, I have come to recognize that one of the most profound and sometimes unsettling aspects of the human psyche is what I have termed the shadow. The shadow consists of those parts of ourselves that we deny, repress, or fail to recognize qualities and impulses that the conscious ego often finds unacceptable. And yet, it is precisely in dreams that the shadow reveals itself most vividly, offering a bridge to self-awareness and transformation. From my earliest observations, I noticed that patients often described dreams that were disturbing, frightening, or morally ambiguous. A man might dream of committing acts he would never consider in waking life. A woman might dream of betrayal, cruelty, or violence. Initially, these dreams could provoke shock or guilt, but I came to understand that they were not indications of moral failure. Rather, they were vital communications from the unconscious, bringing hidden aspects of the self into awareness. The shadow is never purely negative. It contains not only the traits we suppress, but also latent potentials that the conscious ego has overlooked. Anger, desire, fear, and selfishness may appear as disruptive or threatening in dreams, yet they also carry the energy needed for growth, creativity, and individuation. To confront the shadow in dreams is not merely to face darkness, it is to encounter the raw materials of transformation. I recall one patient who frequently dreamed of being pursued through a dark, endless corridor by a figure cloaked in shadow. In waking life, she struggled with self-doubt, repressed anger, and a deep fear of asserting herself. Through careful exploration of the dream, we discovered that the shadow figure represented her own untamed energy's qualities. She had denied in herself, but that demanded acknowledgement. By engaging with these symbols and reflecting upon their meaning, she began to integrate aspects of the shadow, developing courage, self-respect, and a sense of inner strength. In dreams, the shadow often manifests as a person, an animal, or even an object. It may take the form of a thief, a predator, a stranger, or a monster. At times, it may appear as a double of the dreamer, mirroring qualities that the conscious mind refuses to accept. The dreamer may feel fear, guilt, or revulsion, yet these reactions are precisely the clues that indicate the shadow's presence. To resist or ignore these images is to deny an essential dimension of the psyche. To confront them is to begin the work of integration. It is important to understand that the shadow is not always an antagonist. In many dreams, the shadow provides guidance, warns of danger, or reveals hidden truths. It can be a teacher, offering lessons that the ego alone cannot perceive. By dialoguing with the shadow through dream analysis, one can access wisdom that lies beyond the reach of conscious thought. The shadow challenges, yes, but it also enriches, illuminates, and ultimately contributes to the individuation process, the journey toward wholeness. I have often observed that dreams involving the shadow occur at moments of tension, transition, or personal growth. They emerge when the conscious mind is confronted with decisions, dilemmas, or situations that require courage, honesty, and self-reflection. The unconscious uses dreams to dramatize these internal conflicts, creating images that embody the suppressed qualities, fears, or desires that demand attention. By attending to these dreams, the dreamer can navigate the challenges of life with greater insight and integrity. In my own experience, I have occasionally encountered dreams in which my own shadow appeared as a critic, a tempter, or a threatening presence. Initially, I might have wished to dismiss these dreams, yet I learned that such dreams offered invaluable guidance. By observing my reactions, reflecting upon the images, and engaging with the unconscious, I could discern patterns in my own behavior, identify unresolved conflicts, and uncover untapped potential. In this way, even the most troubling dreams of the shadow become instruments of self-knowledge. The key aspect of working with the shadow is acceptance. The ego naturally resists confrontation with the parts of ourselves it considers undesirable. However, true growth requires embracing the shadow, acknowledging its existence, and exploring its messages with honesty and courage. In dreams, this process is facilitated by symbols, scenarios, and narratives that allow the shadow to speak in a language the conscious mind can gradually understand. Integration of the shadow does not mean eradication of its content, nor does it imply moral judgment. Rather, it involves recognition, understanding, and transformation. The energies and impulses that the shadow embodies can be harnessed for creativity, problem-solving, and the enrichment of one's personality. Dreams provide a safe and potent arena for this work, offering both insight and the opportunity for conscious engagement with what is otherwise hidden. Moreover, the shadow is not merely personal, it can also connect with the collective unconscious. Many dreams of the shadow contain archetypal elements, figures of darkness, chaos, or danger that recur across cultures and eras. These archetypal shadows are universal expressions of human fears, moral dilemmas, and the challenges of existence. Recognizing the archetypal dimension of the shadow enriches the interpretive process, allowing the dreamer to see themselves not only as an individual, but also as part of a larger human story. The process of confronting the shadow in dreams is a journey of courage. It demands that the dreamer suspend judgment, resist the temptation to dismiss uncomfortable images, and engage in honest reflection. It requires trust in the unconscious and patience in uncovering the layers of meaning that lie beneath the surface. Yet the rewards are profound. By facing the shadow, the dreamer discovers inner strength, self-awareness, and the potential for transformation that might otherwise remain inaccessible. In conclusion, the shadow is an indispensable element of the dream world. It represents both challenge and opportunity, fear and potential, darkness and illumination. Dreams provide a unique avenue for encountering the shadow, allowing the psyche to reveal itself in symbolic, imaginative, and often dramatic form. To engage with the shadow is to participate in a dialogue with the deepest currents of the mind, to embrace the entirety of one's being, and to move toward wholeness with courage, insight, and self-compassion. The shadow, when acknowledged and integrated, becomes a source of strength. Dreams, in turn, become guides, illuminating paths that the conscious mind might never have discovered alone. In this interplay between ego and unconscious, fear and understanding, we begin to unlock the transformative potential of our inner world, learning that even darkness can lead to light. In my work with dreams, one of the most striking revelations has been the distinction between what I call the personal unconscious and the collective unconscious. While both are dimensions of the psyche, they operate in profoundly different ways, each offering unique insights into the human experience. Understanding this distinction is essential for anyone who seeks to unlock the deeper meanings hidden within dreams. The personal unconscious consists of memories, experiences, and emotions that have been forgotten or repressed by the conscious mind. It is the repository of our individual history, encompassing everything from childhood experiences to recent encounters that may have left an imprint on the psyche. Dreams often draw upon this personal material, presenting it in symbolic form. A dream of a lost friend, a childhood home, or an unresolved conflict is frequently a manifestation of the personal unconscious. These dreams allow the conscious mind to revisit, process, and integrate experiences that might otherwise remain hidden or unexamined. Yet the personal unconscious is only part of the story. Beneath it lies a far more mysterious and profound dimension, the collective unconscious. This is the inherited foundation of the human psyche, containing images, symbols, and patterns that transcend any single individual. I have found that these archetypal forms, such as the wise old man, the great mother, the hero, and the shadow appear consistently across cultures, eras, and even continents. They are not learned from experience, but emerge spontaneously from the depths of the psyche, reflecting universal human concerns, struggles, and potentials. The distinction between personal and collective unconscious is not merely theoretical. It becomes vividly apparent in the study of dreams. When a dream draws upon personal memories and experiences, its meaning is often tied to the dreamer's life circumstances, relationships, or emotional states. When a dream taps into the collective unconscious, it introduces archetypal symbols, mythic imagery, and narratives that resonate far beyond the individual. A dream of a dragon, for example, may symbolize a deeply personal fear, yet it also connects with the archetypal motif of chaos, danger, and transformation found in countless myths and stories throughout human history. I have observed that dreams arising from the collective unconscious often carry a sense of awe, mystery, or even terror. They seem to speak with a voice beyond the ego, addressing the dreamer as both an individual and a participant in a larger, universal drama. These dreams are less concerned with everyday concerns, and more concerned with fundamental questions of existence, life, death, malady, transformation, and the journey toward wholeness. They compel the dreamer to confront not only personal issues, but also the larger patterns that shape human life and consciousness. Consider the example of the archetype of the Great Mother. In personal dreams, she may represent the dreamer's own mother or maternal experiences. In dreams that arise from the collective unconscious, however, she embodies a universal symbol of nurturing, creation, and the origin of life itself. Similarly, the wise old man may appear in a dream as a mentor or teacher in the dreamer's life, but at the collective level, he represents guidance, wisdom, and the principle of knowledge that transcends individual experience. In both cases, dreams serve as a bridge, connecting the personal and the universal in a continuous dialogue. I have also found that the interplay between personal and collective unconscious is dynamic. A dream may begin with images drawn from personal experiences, and gradually introduce archetypal motifs, guiding the dreamer from the familiar to the universal. This transition often coincides with moments of psychological growth, crisis, or transformation, when the conscious ego is ready to encounter insights that extend beyond the personal sphere. In this way, dreams function as instruments of individuation, facilitating the integration of the personal and collective dimensions of the psyche. It is essential to recognize that the collective unconscious is not accessible through ordinary conscious effort. It emerges spontaneously in dreams, visions, and creative expressions, often in symbolic and metaphorical form. Attempting to force its appearance, or to interpret it through purely rational means, is futile. One must approach these symbols with humility, patience, and an openness to their mysterious logic. Only then can the dreamer begin to grasp their meaning and significance. In my clinical practice, I have encountered numerous dreams that vividly illustrate the interaction between personal and collective unconscious. One patient, for example, dreamed of being lost in a labyrinth, pursued by shadows and confronted by a luminous, silent figure. Initially, the dream reflected personal anxieties and unresolved conflicts, yet the presence of the archetypal figure, a guide appearing from the depths, signaled an encounter with the collective unconscious, a call to wisdom and self-realization that transcended the personal narrative. Through careful reflection and dialogue, the dreamer was able to integrate both personal and universal insights, gaining clarity, courage, and a deeper understanding of their own psyche. I often stress that these two layers of the unconscious are not separate in practice. They are intertwined. Dreams may shift seamlessly between personal memories and archetypal images, between everyday concerns and timeless symbols. This fluidity underscores the complexity of the psyche, and the necessity of approaching dream analysis with sensitivity, flexibility, and attentiveness. The analyst must listen to both the personal story and the echoes of the collective, recognizing that each contributes to the holistic understanding of the dream. Ultimately, understanding the distinction between personal and collective unconscious enriches the study of dreams in profound ways. It allows the dreamer to appreciate the multiplicity of meanings contained within each vision, to recognize the personal relevance of archetypal motifs, and to situate individual experiences within a broader, universal context. Dreams, in this sense, are not only reflections of the psyche, they are dialogues between the personal and the universal, invitations to explore the depths of the mind and the shared patterns of human existence. By engaging with both dimensions, the dreamer begins to perceive the psyche as a living, dynamic system, where personal experiences are in constant dialogue with universal principles. Each dream becomes a microcosm of this interaction, revealing not only the hidden aspects of the self, but also the archetypal currents that shape human life across time and culture. Through these insights, the dreamer can embark on the path of individuation, moving toward greater self-awareness, wholeness, and harmony with the unconscious forces that govern the mind. In conclusion, dreams are windows into both the personal and collective realms of the psyche. They reveal memories, emotions, and unresolved issues, while simultaneously presenting archetypal images that connect the individual to universal human experiences. To explore dreams is to engage with both dimensions, to navigate the delicate interplay between the personal and the universal, and to uncover the hidden wisdom that resides within the depths of the unconscious. By doing so, we begin to understand ourselves, our place in the world, and the timeless patterns that shape human existence. In my many years of studying dreams, I have come to recognize that they are far more than reflections of our waking experiences. They are guides on the path towards self-realization, the process of individuation, by which a person becomes aware of and integrates the multiple dimensions of the psyche, is closely intertwined with the insights provided by dreams. To neglect dreams is to overlook one of the most powerful tools the unconscious offers for personal development and psychological wholeness. Self-realization, or individuation, is the gradual process of becoming who one truly is. It involves the integration of conscious and unconscious elements, the acknowledgement of both light and shadow, and the harmonization of conflicting inner forces. Dreams play a pivotal role in this journey because they reveal aspects of the self that are hidden, suppressed, or undeveloped. Through symbolic narratives, archetypal figures, and emotionally charged images, dreams bring unconscious material into the sphere of consciousness, offering both guidance and challenge. I have often observed that dreams provide solutions to problems that the conscious mind struggles to resolve. A dream may present a symbolic scenario in which a conflict is dramatized, a decision explored, or a potential path suggested. Consider the image of a bridge spanning a turbulent river. To the waking mind, the situation may seem insurmountable, yet in the dream, the bridge represents a means of crossing, a solution encoded in symbolic form. By reflecting on such imagery, the dreamer gains insights that is often inaccessible through rational analysis alone. One of the most powerful aspects of dreams in relation to self-realization is their ability to reveal the totality of the psyche. Dreams encompass conscious desires, hidden fears, shadow elements, and archetypal forces. They do not favor one aspect of the self over another rather. They present a panoramic view of the inner world, inviting the dreamer to engage in dialogue with the entire psyche. This holistic perspective is essential for individuation, for without acknowledging and integrating all parts of the self, one cannot achieve true psychological wholeness. In my clinical experience, I have encountered dreams that appear to be invitations to self-discovery. A patient might dream of entering a vast, illuminated hall filled with unknown faces, or descending into a dark cavern to confront a monstrous figure. These dreams often coincide with moments of personal transformation, when the individual is on the threshold of greater awareness, ready to face previously unacknowledged aspects of themselves. By attending carefully to the symbols and narratives within such dreams, the dreamer begins to perceive the opportunities for growth and change that lie within the unconscious. I have also noted that dreams frequently guide the individual toward qualities that are underdeveloped or neglected in waking life. For example, a person who dreams repeatedly of heroic deeds may be called to cultivate courage or assertiveness. A dream of nurturing or receiving care may indicate the need to engage with one's own capacity for self-compassion or empathy. In this manner, dreams serve as teachers, pointing toward the development of qualities necessary for self-realization and the harmonious integration of the psyche. It is important to remember that self-realization is not achieved through mere intellectual understanding. One may study dreams extensively, analyze their symbols, and yet remain distant from the transformative potential they offer. True individuation requires engagement, reflection, and action. Dreams must be taken seriously, recorded, contemplated, and, when possible, enacted in symbolic or practical ways in waking life. The bridge between dream and reality is built through conscious attention, courage, and the willingness to confront one's inner truths. A key element of this process is the integration of the shadow, which I have discussed in earlier reflections. Dreams frequently present shadow elements, offering the dreamer an opportunity to recognize, understand, and incorporate these disowned parts of the self. Without this integration, self-realization remains incomplete. By confronting and assimilating the shadow, The individual gains not only self-knowledge, but also the strength and flexibility required for psychological maturity. Archetypal figures within dreams also play a central role in self-realization. The wise old man, the great mother, the hero, or even the trickster are not merely symbolic images, they represent pathways for growth, guidance, and the unfolding of latent potentials. Engaging with these figures, whether through reflection, creative expression, or dialogue, allows the dreamer to tap into dimensions of the psyche that are both personal and universal. These encounters provide a sense of connection, meaning, and orientation that enrich the journey toward wholeness. I have observed that dreams often provide both warnings and encouragement. A dream may dramatize the consequences of neglecting an inner truth or ignoring a necessary change. Conversely, it may celebrate progress, offering reassurance, guidance, or symbolic rewards for steps taken toward integration. The unconscious communicates with precision, using the symbolic language of dreams to guide, challenge, and illuminate. The dreamer's task is to interpret, integrate, and respond, thereby converting symbolic insights into conscious growth. In my personal reflections, I have found that attending carefully to dreams fosters a sense of dialogue with the unconscious. Over time, this dialogue cultivates self-awareness, emotional intelligence, and a profound understanding of one's own motivations, desires, and fears. Dreams become mirrors and teachers, illuminating hidden truths while offering guidance for conscious action. They provide a roadmap for self-realization, demonstrating the paths available, the obstacles to be faced, and the latent strengths within. Ultimately, dreams are essential companions on the path to psychological wholeness. They reveal the depths of the psyche, guide the individual through the complexities of self-integration, and illuminate the archetypal patterns that shape human life. By engaging attentively with dreams, by reflecting on their symbols, and by integrating their lessons into waking life, one moves ever closer to the fulfillment of one's potential, the realization of a self that is balanced, aware, and whole. Self-realization is not a destination, but a continuous journey. Dreams are both signposts and companions along this path, offering insight, guidance, and transformative experiences. They remind us that within the depths of the unconscious lie treasures of understanding, wisdom, and creativity, waiting to be discovered, integrated, and expressed in the conscious life. To unlock the secrets of dreams is to unlock the potential for self-realization, to engage fully with the totality of the psyche, and to embark upon the lifelong journey of becoming fully oneself.